although again an utterly miserable existence, because university life is so much more than just the studying you do, or in my case, pretty much all that you do apart from the studying. Now, you're one of these 20,000 plus students who joined this. I remember covering this during COVID and during lockdown, and all these students. And again, I've always thought it was sort of teenagers, very, very young children, teenagers in their final few years of school, and young people in going their university years and just starting out in working life, who lost out far more. I mean, just far more than anyone else. And it's been devastating for your lives and your social life and love lives and just experiencing everything that adult life has to offer. What effect did it have on you? Not just in terms of your learning, not just in terms of your pocket, but psychologically, socially. What effect did it have?
Oh, where do I start? So, as you know, I obviously transferred from Derby. So, I am from London originally, but I had no social life in London. I had lived in Derby for the past 4 years. So I was really excited to obviously join a new sports team, join a new society, and of course have that university experience at a top 10 university in the world and use all those facilities. So, of course, there was that. You're attending lectures. Everyone's a black box on Zoom. No one's really got a name. Even reaching your lecturers, you had to do that by email and wait days for a response. It was really isolating, I think, is the right word to use. I'm lucky enough to have never suffered with mental health issues as such, but motivation and finding motivation to finish the degree course was really difficult. I think there was at least 4 or 5 times where I thought, I can't do this, I have to defer. And I mean, I was planning to do a PhD. I really enjoy education. I love going to university. So that was really unlike me. Yeah. But it's difficult to try and complete a university course, which is really intense. It only takes a year, just in the bedroom of your own home. My life was really repetitive, really depressing, for the lack of a better word.
Well, exactly. And in terms of getting a job?
Unsuccessful, I have to say. I mean, I'm lucky now. I'm in the education sector. I'm actually lecturing forensic science. I've still managed to stay in education as such, and I'm reliving my education days again, and hopefully making it a better experience for the current students.
But it was an issue for you because you came out of university with these qualifications, but you'd had no practical experience on how.
Exactly. My big dream was to, of course, be a crime scene investigator or a forensic scientist. And I've gone to so many interviews. I got to the final stages with Met Police, Essex Police, Eurofins, a really great forensic science company. And I had to try and sell myself and say that I've done all these practicals and these experiments and attended the crime scenes on Zoom. And it was really actually quite embarrassing. It's really hard to dress that up.
Yeah, it's not real life. Make
it sound good. It's not real life at all. And we're talking about, real life cases, sexual assault, murder, suicide. I'm not surprised that they don't want to send a person that attended a Zoom crime scene into the real life world and then go to court.
Jowita, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Listen, I'm great. Yeah. I'm glad that you are fighting back on this and getting hopefully some compensation. Let's talk to your lawyer, solicitor for this is www.studentgroupclaim.co.uk, Shimon Goldwater. Thank you so much for joining us, Shimon. I suppose the first thing I would ask is, were universities in this scenario, were they required to do a lot of this? I mean, is it fair to blame universities that students were basically locked up in their halls of residence or at home for months and months on end?
So thank you. It's really important to understand that what universities got wrong here is not their response to COVID necessarily, which was to some extent not their fault. They were told what to do by the government. What they've got wrong is not giving students the compensation, the refund in the price between what the students paid for and what they actually received, which was financially worth less. And that's what's gone wrong here.
Because it's very much more a transactional issue. Look, I'm one of those people who went to university when we got a maintenance grant and were paid to go. But it's very much a changed relationship, isn't it? And we know that universities made money during COVID, didn't they? Because everyone was at home. They didn't have to pay for heating halls and all of the extra costs of having, those pesky, irritating students actually round and about. And between them, I understand the 18 universities where you're seeking damages from, that between them, they actually accrued an extra $1 billion in income that wasn't spent. So they financially benefited, and yet they've not given any compensation to those who lost out the most.
That's right, and we hear from students about all the individual problems that they had, but the universities seem to have done financially very well during the pandemic. So between 2018 and 2021, their tuition fee income, as you said, went up by more than £1 billion. we're focused at the moment on 18 of the largest universities, with more to follow at student group claim. And those 18 have collective assets of about £16 billion after taking account of all their debts. So these are big, successful, profitable institutions. They can afford, in our view, to give students the compensation they deserve. Yeah. You know, if you...
I think as Jowita pointed out, a lot of the universities, did do their best to get as much as it, getting back to real life as soon as possible, and at least having some, where they weren't legally allowed to do so. Look, we had issues in our own office here trying to get people back into the building and how many people you could have in and the like. So they, a lot of them had their hands tied, but some really dragged their feet. Let's face it, an awful lot of people running universities and the lecturers and that, frankly, quite like the fact they got to sit at home all day, didn't they?
Well, it's not just the fact that they may have enjoyed it. It's more the fact that, as we said, they've really done financially very well, partly because when you don't have a limitation of the size of a lecture hall on how many students you can have on your course, you can actually have many more students than you normally would, and every extra student is more tuition fees. And we think that UK students who are at university during the pandemic, probably our estimate is about £5,000 of compensation is how much they probably can receive each if their claims succeed. With international students, significantly more. So we're talking about quite significant sums of compensation if these claims are successful.
Absolutely. I mean, that could be a deposit for the first flat and all of that. I would absolutely encourage any students who've been, top 18 universities. It's UCL, LSE, King's College London, Imperial College London, Queen Mary, universities of Manchester, Leeds, Birmingham, Warwick, and Cardiff. There'll be others as well. Students should seek that compensation. I've got a very good case. How long do you think it might take for us to find out the resolution of this case, whether you win or lose?
That depends. There could be an early settlement, as with all legal cases. Yeah. If the universities are reasonable and they can enter settlement talks. If not, then it's a question of probably 18 months or so, or 2 years. But we hope it won't need to go all the way. We hope universities will be reasonable. And we're doing this as a no-win, no-fee claim. So students don't need to pay anything up front to join the claim. If their claim succeeds, then they pay a proportion of their winnings as to cover the legal costs.
So people can take a look at studentgroupclaim.co.uk if they think or the parents might think they're eligible for it. Huge thanks to you, Shimon Goldwater. Jowita, just a quick word to you. If you did get this money, say £5,000, what would you do with it?
Probably like you said, save it for a flat or a house. I mean, it's a long way to go. £5,000 probably wouldn't be, but it's always a start, isn't it?
Absolutely. Listen, good luck with everything. I've got a funny feeling you're going to do all right in this world. It's really great to talk to you, and to Shimon Goldwater as well. This is Talk Breakfast.